he will never forget.
What about someone special?
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I just said that, Drax.
But your voice is small and mousy. I think maybe he didn't hear you. You're coming with us as a Christmas present. I'm Groot.
'Twas the night before Christmas, on a set lit so bright, a director was planning an awesome delight to make a Marvel special with some holiday fun. That man was none other than director James Gunn.
It is the very first thing ever conceived from Marvel Studios for Disney+.
It's a fantastic story, vomited from the brain of a mad genius.
Action! On the set of Volume 2, James Gunn said, we should do a holiday special. Merry Christmas! We all had a laugh. We thought that would be great. And then they wrote it like 3 days.
1, 2, 3. Santa is a furry freak.
The holiday special, it's like awesome.
This has been a real joyful shoot because I get to work with a lot of people I really love.
I think audiences are really going to be excited. It's probably going to be played every year for the rest of our lives.
Kevin Bacon.
You're coming with us as a Christmas present.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. We have a brand new Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special trailer, so we'll break it down. There's a bunch of new Easter eggs. They also talk a little bit about how they actually came up with making it. Obviously, it's meant to be a big parody of the Star Wars holiday special, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, I'll be doing videos for it, just like I did for Marvel's Werewolf by Night, the other big special presentation one-off. And obviously, this is meant to be a big prequel for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I'll explain how it ties in with the plot of Guardians 3 and some of the characters that they're introducing during that. Because there are a couple of big additions to this, like Cosmo the dog is a much bigger character than we've seen in the previous Guardians movies. I think the funny revelation here is that James Gunn came up with the idea way back when they were filming Guardians of the Galaxy 2 while they were on set. Like, that's when he pitched it to Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige is like, yes. He wrote a draft super quickly, and he said that he actually wrote Kevin Bacon into that first draft and then pitched it to Kevin Bacon, who was also like, hell yes, I'll be in that thing. But you have to remember, this is years ago when they were filming Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Basically, the idea here is that Peter Quill is super bummed out about the new version of Gamora from 2014 that he's trying to find again and get to fall in love with him again, because obviously she never met him because it's the earlier version of the character. So she hasn't been through any of the things that the original version of Gamora went through. She's not supposed to be in this, but she is a huge character, obviously, during Guardians of the Galaxy 3. They're waiting till Guardians 3 to resolve most of the plot with that version of Gamora. This is meant to take place the Christmas after Thor Love and Thunder, which is taking place about 3 years after Avengers Endgame or so. Around the same time that most of Black Panther Wakanda Forever happens, and around the same time that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is happening, but that's meant to be the first Marvel Phase 5 movie, so that's actually probably happening like a little bit after the holiday season. So we'll say it's happening really early 2024 tentatively, unless they say something different when the movie actually comes out. And a lot of the plot is the Guardians of the Galaxy trying to figure out, one, what is Christmas just to begin with? Like, Christmas is a concept, the holiday celebrations is a concept, which is why they use this particular Tom Petty song on the trailer. It's called Christmas Time All Over Again, but the joke is that he's trying to figure out what Christmas time is during the song. Like, he doesn't understand Christmas. And that's the whole idea with Drax and Mantis, is they're trying to grab Kevin Bacon. We don't really know what Christmas is, but we're definitely going to celebrate it. The reason they're going to yoink Kevin Bacon is because they know Peter Quill loves 80s pop culture, 80s music, 80s movies, 80s everything. Because that was the time when he left planet Earth, so like all of his pop culture knowledge is frozen during that era. But obviously because of the Footloose joke, at the end of the Footloose movie, Kevin Bacon has a dance-off to save the dance hall, basically. At the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he had the dance-off to save the universe, and then they actually had a legit Footloose joke name drop during Avengers Infinity War.
Tell them about the dance-off to save the universe.
What dance-off?
It's not.
Like in Footloose, the movie?
Exactly like Footloose. Is it still the greatest movie in history?
It never was.
Don't encourage this, all right?
If James Gunn really did come up with the idea for the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special while they were filming Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that means he actually intended to pay off this Kevin Bacon Footloose joke before they actually wrote the Footloose joke for Avengers Infinity War. Even though because of the order they're releasing things, it seems the other way around. It seems like this Kevin Bacon joke in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is paying off the Avengers Infinity War joke. Technically, it's the other way around. But the basic idea during this is that Kevin Bacon is meant to be playing a real-life version of himself. Like it's the actor Kevin Bacon who made the Footloose movie, but it's inside the MCU. I made the X-Men First Class joke before too, because Kevin Bacon played Sebastian Shaw during X-Men First Class, and if he's the actor Kevin Bacon who made all these movies, that means that the X-Men First Class movies are technically kind of canon to the MCU now. Deadpool already canonized all that stuff to the same Fox Marvel universe, like the X-Men First Class movies are canon to the same original Bryan Singer X-Men movies with Patrick Stewart's Professor X, with the same version of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. In those versions will be the versions that we see in Deadpool 3, and they'll be coming to the MCU at some point during the movie. Thank you very much, TVA, Loki, and Mobius. I just did a big video about that too. However crazy you think that they would get with the canon in the Deadpool movie, messing around with that, they're going to get even crazier. But eventually they will wind up in the MCU by the end of that movie. Meaning by association, the X-Men First Class movies would be canon to the MCU. So everything is connected. This is like this giant meta circle of Easter eggs confusing you in the best possible way. The planet that Peter Quill and most of the Guardians are on during most of the holiday special is the Contraxia planet, like the pleasure planet that most of the Ravagers stay on between missions. The whole idea is that they technically still think of themselves as Ravagers, they just have new management, quote-unquote, after the events of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That actually plays in with the idea of what's happening during Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because at the beginning of that, they find out that Gamora, like the 2014 version of Gamora, has gone full Thanos and basically taken over the Ravagers. So it's like a more badass version of the character before you saw her meet up with Peter Quill and turn against Thanos in the first Guardians movie. James Gunn did clarify a couple things because there's like a much bigger version of Groot, and that's obviously a big point of interest. Like, wait a minute, is Groot growing to full size during this or during Guardians of the Galaxy 3? Because there was a moment during my Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer video where we actually see him Hulk out, like a Groot Hulk out type of moment where he gets super big. They released an early Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer back at Comic-Con. I've already done a full breakdown of that, all the new footage and the new Easter eggs, so I'll post a link for that at the end of this and down in the description below. Because we do get our first genuine look at Adam Warlock during that. He's not supposed to appear during the holiday special, just during Guardians 3. And the big thing with Groot during this, yes, he is bigger, so like he has grown quite a bit. But when I watched the first trailer, I actually thought that they did him as a practical effect, just in the tone of the Star Wars holiday special, like doing it is kind of like a funny in-joke kind of thing. Like we'll make him look super lo-fi because that was kind of the vibe of the Star Wars holiday special. But James Gunn actually said that they did Groot the way that they usually do him, like as a full-on special effect. They just made him look practical using special effects. It's kind of the same thing that they did with the Marvel Werewolf by Night holiday special, making it black and white, like intentionally making it seem kind of old-timey, even though they're using really, really modern special effects. I'm sure a bunch of people will watch the holiday special and be like, why does it look so lo-fi? Like, no, they're actually using their super expensive special effects to make it look lo-fi because they're going with the vibe of the Star Wars holiday special. But there are probably all kinds of young people who have never seen the Star Wars holiday special. If you haven't seen it, you should at least check out some of it. If you can make it through the whole thing, you are a champ. It is genuinely not great. Like Mark Hamill makes fun of it all the time on his Twitter account. If you never watched it, George Lucas famously created it just to sell toys, and it aired in a CBS special presentation, which is what inspired the Marvel special presentation whole branding and the logo. Like that's based on the Star Wars holiday special presentation. Because it was a real quick and dirty kind of commercial just to sell toys, none of the actors wanted to be in it.
The Earthlings at Kenner have asked my associate and me to present the Star Wars collection. Truly remarkable toys and games for your children.
Harrison Ford went crazy when he found out he had to be in it, but contractually he was forced to do it. It features the very first appearance of Boba Fett. I've already talked about that during all my Mandalorian videos back during Season 1. And after it was done, it accomplished what it was supposed to do. Like Star Wars toys sold like crazy. It's where George Lucas made most of his money in all the merchandising around Star Wars, not the actual films themselves. But even though financially it wound up being very successful for him in the long run, George Lucas famously hated the production so much that it only aired that one time, November 1978, and he used his power to basically kill all copies of it so that it could never air again. But so much time has gone by since it actually aired, it's kind of passed into pop culture legend, like, hey, remember that crazy Star Wars holiday special? Let's put that back up again. I'm sure there'll still be a lot of people watching the holiday special next week, not really understanding why they're going with that vibe or what's really going on with it. The same thing happened when Marvel's Werewolf by Night came out and it was black and white, meant to be in the same vibe as the classic Universal monster movies of the 1930s. And a lot of people just hadn't seen those classic monster movies and didn't really understand the whole black and white vibe. Like, no, this is actually a masterwork. This is amazing. It's meant to be lo-fi on purpose. I've already talked a little bit about Cosmo the dog. She is going to be a character during Guardians 3, so they're kind of introducing her in a bigger way, or reintroducing her during this special. In the comics, Cosmo was based on the real-life Russian space dog Laika. In the 1950s, Russia tested some of their space technology using a dog. The dog was fired into space and eventually wound up dying. In the comics, the same thing happened to Cosmo, but when she was fired into space, went to nowhere, got bombarded with cosmic rays, and gained the ability to talk. So it's Cosmo the talking dog. So during the special, you'll hear her voice for the first time, and it's being played by Maria Bakalova. Michael Brooker was also listed in the cast of this, so he probably has a cameo as Yondu in some way, either like a flashback or some funny cut-to of earlier footage, or just like a hallucination that Peter Quill is having. There's not supposed to be any kind of Thor, Chris Hemsworth cameo or anything like that. They might reference the events of Thor Love and Thunder just to help with continuity. And like I said, Adam Warlock isn't supposed to be in this. I think Guardians 3 is supposed to be the first time we actually see him on screen. I'm allowed to post my review next week, so look out for that. In my full breakdown Easter eggs video, all that stuff will post after it actually comes out next Friday. Everyone click here for my Guardians of the Galaxy 3 trailer video and Easter eggs, and click here for my brand new Deadpool 3 trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.